After the car accident, I was trapped in my seat and couldn't move, crying. I begged my husband Axel Schön to save me, but he said to me, "This is what you owe Zara. If you hadn't married me, she wouldn't have died." Zara Lynn was his assistant. On the day Axel Schön and I got married, she jumped into a river and committed suicide. Gasoline leaked, and then it exploded. Starting over, I returned to this day of my wedding, as the officiant announced the exchange of rings. I snatched the ring that Axel Schön was about to put on my finger, ran off the stage, and placed it on Zara Lynn's finger instead. "I'm giving Axel Schön to you, wishing you both 100 years of happiness." Probably no one expected this sudden turn of events. The entire wedding venue fell into a dead silence. Zara Lynn was clearly terrified. She pulled her hand back, looking flustered and uneasy, her eyes instinctively darting toward Axel Schön on the ceremonial stage. I twitched the corner of my mouth and was about to say something when I heard Axel Schön's furious voice. "Ivy Shu, what are you doing?" As soon as the words were spoken, he was already by Zara Lynn's side. Axel Schön instinctively shielded Zara Lynn behind him and growled at me in a low voice. "What are you causing a scene for? Do you not want to go through with this wedding anymore?" The quiet venue gradually began to fill with murmurs. What's gotten into the Shu family's eldest daughter? Wasn't this the marriage alliance she begged for? Exactly. Wasn't she Axel Schön's devoted follower before? What is she doing now? Could she be jealous of Axel Schön's assistant? That can't be right. Axel Schön is famously a workaholic who keeps his distance from women. Yes, Axel Schön is aloof by nature. I pursued him for 8 years, and he never paid me any attention. But he also showed no interest in other women, at least from my perspective. So when the car accident happened and he told me that my marriage had driven Zara Lynn to suicide, I was utterly shocked. Shocked that they had already shared a relationship that went beyond ordinary colleagues. Seeing such an expression on my face, he sneered and said, "Did I hide it well? You're so fixated on me. But you know nothing. I truly didn't see it, and neither did anyone else. One is the person I love, who eventually became my husband. The other is a student from a poor background I once sponsored, and to help her, I recommended her to be the assistant of the person I love. Their family backgrounds are vastly different, and their appearances don't match either. They kept it so well hidden." I still remember the last question I asked Axel Schön. "This car accident wasn't an accident, was it? Was this revenge against me?" he said with a frenzied expression. "If it weren't for your insistence on getting married, how could Zara have died?" I closed my eyes briefly. It was clearly him who said that the new product he was in charge of needed to expand its market share and required the support of the Shu family. The Schön family was already weaker than the Shu family, without any benefits. The only way to gain support was through marriage. That's why I convinced my parents to let me marry him. How did it end up being my fault in the end? Why aren't you saying anything? If you don't want to get married, we can just cancel the wedding. Axel Schön's angry voice in my ear brought me back to reality. "Great, that suits me perfectly," I replied. Axel Schön's expression froze for a moment, as if he hadn't expected me to actually agree. His voice deepened. "Are you making a fool of me? You've already disgraced your own family enough, and now you're dragging the Schön family into it." The guests were confused, and the elders from both sides came out to mediate, suggesting that any issues should be discussed later and to first complete the ceremony. Zara Lynn, standing behind Axel Schön, also leaned forward slightly and said meekly, "I'm sorry, Miss Shu, I don't know if I've offended you in some way, but I apologize to you first." Her expression was one of genuine fear and trepidation, as if she truly had no idea what had happened, but her hand unconsciously pressed against the ring I had given her, with no intention of taking it off. I looked at her innocent expression and smiled. "See, the women's ring in this pair suits you so well. It fits perfectly." Zara Lynn's expression changed. It seems she remembered. She had also tried on this pair of rings. Not only had she tried them on, but she had also posted about them on her Little Red Book alternate account. "This ring, I hope one day I can wear it openly and proudly, but the focus isn't on this pair of rings, but rather the background behind them." She was trying on this pair of rings in a hotel suite, with Axel Schön. I waved my hand, and the venue darkened. The wedding photo of me and Axel Schön that was originally on the big screen was taken down, and a slideshow of new photos began. The photos showed a man holding a woman, starting from the parking lot all the way into the hotel room. Although the distance was far, it was still clear that the people were Axel Shun and Zara Lin, at the first glance of the photos. Axel Shun widened his eyes and then shouted, "What is this? Why are you playing this? Stop it." But no one listened to him. After all, I was the one planning the wedding, and the staff only listened to me. Just as he was about to go and have someone stop the playback, it had already reached the last photo. The last photo froze on the image of Axel Shun and Zara Lin kissing. The murmurs in the venue grew louder. So Axel Shun, like someone so ordinary, I never would have guessed. I heard Ivy Xu introduced her to Axel Shun's company. Miss Xu probably never expected to be backstabbed by such a plain-looking girl. The scene was getting more and more chaotic, and the elders on both sides were also asking what was going on. Zara Lin's face turned pale, and she unconsciously tugged at the hem of Axel Shun's clothes. Axel Shun was furious. "Are you following me? Get someone to turn off the screen now." I glanced at him and said, "So what if I'm following you? I have even more explosive news, and I'm about to release it." Upon hearing this, Zara Lin rushed over to me, knelt down crying, and said, "Miss Xu, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have fallen for Mr. Shun against my better judgment. It's my fault. I shouldn't have forgotten your kindness. I'll disappear right now and never appear before you and President Shun again." As she spoke, she stood up to leave, but I grabbed her by the hand. She stumbled and fell to the ground. Her bag also dropped, scattering its contents all over the floor. Amid a pile of clutter, a prenatal checkup report was tucked away. In a moment of desperation, she grabbed a small paper cutter from the clutter and was about to slash her wrist. I kicked out, sending the knife flying. "If you want to die, don't do it today," I said expressionlessly. Zara Lin lay on the ground, silently weeping. Axel Shun immediately crouched down, wanting to help her up, but she refused to rise. I walked over and picked up the pregnancy test report. "Stop pretending. You went to Axel Shun earlier today and asked him to run away with you instead of getting married, didn't you? But he didn't, even when you said you were pregnant. So you want to die not because you feel guilty toward me, but because Axel Shun chose me over you." Hearing my words, Axel Shun and Zara Lin's expressions turned utterly dramatic. And Zara Lin even forgot to keep crying. People in the venue were whispering among themselves, and some even started taking photos with their phones. My family was already furious and began questioning the Shun family about what was going on. The Shun family was busy comforting my parents while also trying to explain the situation to the guests. Completely overwhelmed, I took off my veil and placed it on Zara Lin. "Just wear it openly. I don't want this person anymore. I'll give him to you." In my previous life, Zara Lin went missing after my wedding. It was only after the police investigation that they discovered she had jumped into the river. Although her body was never found, the river was so turbulent that there was basically no hope of survival. We all thought she was dead. I also had doubts about her death, so I asked Axel Shun about it. Axel Shun said he didn't know either. Perhaps the pressure from the family was too great. I do know that Zara Lin's family is very poor. Her mother is paralyzed, her father is a compulsive gambler, and her younger siblings are still in school. She alone supports the entire family. I just never expected that Axel Shun would deceive me. Zara Lin didn't commit suicide because of her family, but because of him. But for some reason, he blamed all of this on me. Not long after I died, Zara Lin came back to life. It turned out that after she jumped into the river that time, she didn't die but was saved by someone. She simply changed her name and identity and went abroad directly. She also gave birth to Axel Shun's child abroad. In the end, the two reconciled and got back together. Watching the two who had betrayed me live happily ever after, my soul reached the peak of resentment. Then, after a flash of white light, I was reborn 1 month before the wedding. It's not that I couldn't just cancel the wedding and stay away from them, but I wanted to get revenge even more fiercely. So I hired a private investigator to follow them, and placed a listening device in the pen given to Axel Shun, expose them in public, then take the opportunity to cancel the marriage alliance and prevent the new product Axel Shun is responsible for from succeeding. After this incident, the marriage alliance between the Xu family and the Shun family naturally fell through, but Axel Shun didn't seem to think so. I received his call a week later. His tone wasn't very good. "Ivy Xu, why haven't you brought me food these past few days? I want sweet and sour pork ribs." That's right. I used to be really fawning, learning the dishes he loved. cooking for him, and bringing him meals every day. But now, what you want to eat is none of my damn business. I hung up the phone. Axelsson called back immediately. Let's put the food delivery aside for now. When can we discuss the marriage alliance? Last time, because of your outburst, the wedding was ruined. And we have to hold it again. I laughed in disbelief. No more marriage alliance. Go find Zara Lynn. She's already pregnant with your child. It wouldn't be appropriate to proceed with the alliance now. Who knew Axelsson would get angry? What are you making a fuss about again? It's been a week. And you're still not done with it. As for Zara, I'll have her abort the child. It won't affect our marriage. I still remember, in the last life, the frenzied expression he had when he mentioned Zara Lynn. At that time, with the help of the Shu family, he expanded his business and became the head of the Shun family. Perhaps he finally remembered the goodness of his first love again. But now, before he had even secured his footing in the Shun family, he sacrificed Zara Lynn. I sneered, "You are truly heartless." Then I hung up the phone. After that, I rejected all of Axelsson's calls. I guess his patience had reached its limit. Finally, I received a message. "Ivy Shu, I gave you a chance, remember? You were the one who gave up on the marriage alliance. Don't regret it." The marriage alliance was cancelled. The Shu family's department stores stopped selling the new products Axelsson was responsible for overnight, and even other Shun family products were relegated to inconspicuous corners. The previously agreed upon investments were also cancelled. My best friend gossiped with me, saying that other investors, seeing the Shun family's unfavorable situation, also withdrew their investments one after another. She also told me that the video of my wedding fiasco was filmed and uploaded online, and Axelsson's identity was exposed, which also negatively affected the product he was responsible for. How can someone two-timing be so self-righteous? If a person lacks moral integrity, could their company's products also have issues? This product has been completely pulled from the shelves in the Shu family's shopping malls. There must be a problem. Right. People even rushed to the official accounts of their products to leave angry comments, and it even made it to the trending searches. The Shun family originally planned to go public, but now they have to postpone it. Mr. and Mrs. Shun came to see my parents, but my parents turned them away at the door. Axelsson also called me several times, but I found it annoying and blocked him. There's no other way. The Shun family issued a statement. And Axelsson stepped down from his position as company president, allowing someone else to take over. He is no longer responsible for this product of the company. This finally calmed the public opinion online. A few days later, just as I was about to go out, I didn't expect Zara Lynn to be waiting for me at my doorstep. "You just didn't marry Axelsson, so why should your family withdraw their investment in his family, and why remove the counters for his products? Do you know how much this affects him?" I glanced at Zara Lynn. She hadn't terminated the pregnancy, and her lower abdomen was slightly swollen. "What right does an ungrateful person like you have to say this to me?" Zara Lynn lowered her eyes and said, "I am truly sorry for what happened between him and me. It was my fault. You can punish me, but I hope you won't affect Axelsson." I sneered, "You're right, then let's stop the financial support to your family." Zara Lynn was stunned. "My family?" "Yes, your mother's medical expenses, as well as your brother's tuition and living costs, were all funded by me, and it really is time to stop." Zara Lynn's face turned pale. She had always known her family was receiving financial support, but she didn't know who the benefactor was, for those receiving support. The identity of the benefactor is usually kept confidential. I only revealed my identity to help Zara Lynn because I felt sorry for her before. Who would have thought I was helping an ungrateful person? Zara Lynn herself had no money. After that farce at the wedding, the Shun family found her embarrassing and fired her. Her previous savings had long been used up for her mother's medical treatment. Rely on Axelsson. Axelsson can barely take care of himself, let alone have the time to support her family. I stopped the financial support for Zara Lynn's family and had someone pass the message to them. It was because Zara Lynn offended the benefactor that the funding was cut off, especially since her brother was at a critical stage in his education. The funding was cut off, and he performed poorly in his exams, eventually dropping out of school. The circle is never short of gossip. And soon I learned that Zara Lynn had a miscarriage after being beaten by her father, but that was none of my concern. I had more important matters to attend to. In my previous life, I got married right after graduation and became a full-time housewife, dedicating myself wholeheartedly to Axelsson, knowing nothing else. Now, I'm ready to pick up my studies again, pursue further education, and learn how to manage the family business. A while ago, I started applying for a master's program in business abroad and have been busy preparing the necessary documents. Now the materials are all prepared, and the applications have been submitted. During this period of waiting for the offer, I plan to get some exercise first. After discussing with my dad, I decided to join the factory under our family company, starting from the bottom to familiarize myself with the production process. The factory is in another city. I declined my dad's help and came to this city on my own, carrying my backpack. I rented a place, settled in, and started my internship. Not long after, one evening, I received a phone call. Shushu, could you do me a favor? The caller was Jiyu Yang, Axelsson's cousin. We had rarely been in touch since he went abroad to study, so I didn't know why he was calling me. Are you here to lobby for Axelsson? I frowned and asked, what's wrong? Probably sensing the unfriendliness in my tone. He immediately explained, I'm not here to speak for my cousin. I just arrived in City B, and my friend stood me up. Sister Shushu, could you come pick me up at the high-speed rail station? I don't know the way. He said he had made plans with friends here to hang out, but as soon as he got off the high-speed train, someone told him there was an emergency at home and they couldn't host him anymore. His girlfriend suddenly brought her parents to visit his home, so he had to attend to them and really couldn't spare any time for me. There was a hint of grievance in his tone. I remembered how, in his younger days, he always liked to follow me around, and when he felt wronged, he would use that same tone of voice. But at that time, my focus was entirely on Axelsson, and I had no mind to pay attention to anyone else. Since we were somewhat acquainted and I happened to be free, I went to the high-speed rail station. When I arrived at the high-speed rail station, just as I was about to make a phone call, someone tapped me on the shoulder from behind. Shushu, long time no see. Jiyu Yang greeted me with a smile. Long time no see. The person in front of me was tall and slender, sunny and handsome, completely different from the thin and small boy I remembered. I was stunned for a moment, but quickly regained my composure. Which hotel did you book? I'll take you there. I didn't book a hotel. My friend originally said I could stay at his place, but then, he looked at me pitifully. Then, should I find a hotel and take you there? As I spoke, I opened my phone to search for nearby hotels. He stopped me. I've already looked, and there are no available rooms now. Indeed, it's currently a short holiday, and City B is a popular tourist destination, so it's normal not to be able to book a hotel at the last minute. Before I could even ask what to do, I heard Jiyu Yang say, Shushujie, can you take me in? He looked at me apologetically and pleaded, Before I could even voice my refusal, he spoke again pitifully, the return tickets are sold out too, if you don't take me in. Sister Shushu, I'll have to sleep at the high-speed rail station, no need to make it sound so serious. Actually, there is still a spare room in the apartment I'm renting, and although my family has fallen out with the Shen family, we still have a good relationship with the Jiyu family and maintain business dealings with them. It wouldn't be good to directly refuse. Alright then, Jiyu Yang smiled. Then thank you, Sister Shushu. When I brought the person home, I was still in a daze. Jiyu Yang, on the other hand, didn't act like a stranger at all. I led him to the empty room, and he immediately started cleaning and tidying up on his own. When I came to my senses and was about to get him a blanket, I saw him take a sleeping bag out of his suitcase. You brought this kind of stuff on a trip? I asked in surprise. Jiyu Yang smiled. Since I'm staying at someone else's place, it wouldn't be good to trouble them too much. I felt something was a bit strange, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Whatever, forget it. Then you should rest well, I said to him. Jiyu Yang replied with a smile. Okay, good night, Sister Shushu. The next morning, when I got up, breakfast was already prepared and waiting on the table. Did you make this? Jiyu Lin smiled and nodded. I remembered that you like pumpkin porridge. Shushu, since we happen to have the ingredients, I made some. I hope I didn't disturb you. I shook my head and sat down to eat the porridge. It's the flavor I like. Sweet. Suddenly feeling a bit emotional. Besides my parents, there's someone else who remembers my preferences. In my previous life, even after marrying Axelsson, he never knew what I liked. When I was sick, What he always brought me was century egg and lean pork congee. That's what he likes. I once mentioned that I wanted to eat pumpkin porridge, and he said okay, but the next time he brought it, it was still century egg and lean meat porridge. Shushuja. I'm not familiar with City B either. Can you take me out to have some fun? Jiu Yang's voice pulled me back from my memories. I smiled at him. Actually, I'm not very familiar with it either. On weekends, I either stay at the factory or at home. Jiu Yang's eyes lit up. Then let's take advantage of this holiday to go out and explore together. I heard there are many fun places in City B. Indeed, ever since I came back to life, my nerves have been constantly on edge. It's about time I properly relaxed. So, Jiu Yang and I went out together. To my surprise, Jiu Yang, who claimed not to be familiar with City B, actually planned the itinerary perfectly. I just happened to have done some research earlier. He said with a smile. We visited the landmark attractions in City B, strolled along the famous pedestrian street, and finally found a quiet restaurant to have a meal. How come I remember this restaurant requires a reservation? Flipping through the menu, I casually asked. Jiu Yang still smiled. I had made a reservation earlier. While we were eating, Jiu Yang mentioned that the meeting between the two families at his friend's place went smoothly, and his girlfriend's family would be staying a few more days. So he said he won't have time for me these next few days. Can I stay with you a bit longer? After saying this, as if worried I might refuse, he added, I'll go back after the short holiday ends, or I'll see if I can change my ticket. I smiled and said, since it's rare for you to come back to the country, stay and enjoy a few more days here. It doesn't affect me at all. Anyway, after staying one night, I didn't find it inconvenient anywhere. No sooner had he finished speaking than Axel Shen and a few business people emerged from the private room. He also spotted Jiu Yang and me. Axel Shen gave me an ambiguous glance, then said something to the business people before walking over. With a hint of disdain in his eyes, he looked at me and said, I was wondering why you suddenly went crazy at the wedding and kept pushing me away. Turns out you were hooking up with my cousin. I snapped back. Are you out of your mind? Having a meal together counts as hooking up. Axel Shen raised an eyebrow. Otherwise, I was about to speak when Jiu Yang cut me off, saying calmly, cousin, things that can't be brought into the open are called hooking up, like you and your assistant. What I have with Sister Shushu is an open and above-board dinner date. Upon hearing this, Axel Shen was visibly angered. You have no right to speak here. Jiu Yang continued mockingly. Cousin, you came to City B to discuss cooperation, right? How come I don't see your assistant wife? Oh right, I forgot. Your assistant wife got fired because your messy affairs were too embarrassing to be made public. Axel Shen's face darkened like the bottom of a pot, and he could no longer hold back, raising his clenched fist, just as the fist was about to hit Jiu Yang's face. Jiu Yang tilted his head and blocked Axel Shen's punch with his hand. If you hit me, I wouldn't mind going to the police station. But I doubt your clients would want to see their business partner with violent tendencies. Jiu Yang raised an eyebrow and gestured with his head toward the business professionals chatting over there. Axel Shen was furious to the extreme, but he could only lower his fist. Someone from the group of business professionals over there was already calling him, and he had to go. Before leaving, he glanced at me, then said to Jiu Yang in a low voice, stay away from her. That evening, Axel Shen called from another phone number. Ivy Shu, come back to me, and I'll let bygones be bygones. I frowned, still wanting to make things clear with him. Axel Shen, if you had shown any sign of having someone in your heart back then, I wouldn't have been so eager to pursue you. You're with Zara Lin and even got her pregnant. There's no chance for us anymore. Axel Shen remained silent for a long time before speaking, though it's a bit late now. I still want to explain. I was kidnapped when I was young, and she was my savior. She said she likes me and doesn't even care about having a formal title. I truly didn't know how to refuse her. I just find it amusing. Don't know how to say no. Is it the same with me? He fell silent. I continued. So I stepped back, and you don't have to struggle anymore. Just accept Zara Lin. No, this time, Axel Shen immediately spoke up. Ivy Shu, I've thought it over. And the most suitable person for me is you. As for Zara, I will give her a sum of money and have her leave. I can guarantee you that my wife will only be you, and only you can bear my children. If you have any other demands. I was about to interrupt him when I heard Jiu Yang calling out loudly from the kitchen. Shushuja, where is the sesame oil? It's on the second shelf of the cabinet next to the refrigerator. Without bothering to refute Axelsson, I answered Ji Yang first. Axelsson on the phone was stuck. Then, he asked in disbelief, Ji Yang is at your place? Yeah, I replied casually. Dinner ended up like that, and both Ji Yang and I lost our appetite, so Ji Yang suggested we go home and have a late-night snack, and he would prepare it. You actually let a man into your home so late at night. Do you have no shame? Axelsson's angry voice came through. In my previous life, how did I not realize that Axelsson has a few screws loose? It must be that love has clouded my vision. Axelsson, are you living in the Qing dynasty? I said calmly. And besides, whether there's a man in my house at night, what business is that of yours? Axelsson paused for a moment and said, I'm doing this for your own good. A man of that age, in your house late at night. Do you think I don't know what he's thinking? I said, oh, so what? I'm an adult. Whatever I do is my own business. Ji Yang brought over the prepared dishes. And I seemed to catch a faint, almost imperceptible smile on his face. Upon hearing this, Axelsson gritted his teeth and said, you'd better take care of yourself. Then he hung up the phone. After that, Axelsson never contacted me again. This might also be the reason why I blocked this phone number. Ji Yang went back after the short holiday ended, and nothing happened between us. However, my contact with him did increase. I applied to schools in Country M, and Ji Yang, who is currently studying there, is a great person to communicate with. Ji Yang said he honed his cooking skills while studying abroad. When you come over, I'll cook something delicious for you. My cooking skills are pretty good. Right, I savored the thought and laughed. Thank you in advance. Then, Ji Yang also smiled. Don't be so polite. I'm really looking forward to cooking for you. Time passed quickly, and I received an offer from my target university. During this time, I also received a wedding invitation from Axelsson and Zara Lin. Axelsson didn't contact me, but instead sent the invitation directly to my home. There was a note attached to it. It's because you chose to degrade yourself that I picked Zara Lin instead. Don't you regret it? How ridiculous. I casually tossed the invitation into the trash can. Ever since the scandal with his assistant at the wedding, girls in the same circle have been avoiding Axelsson. And he doesn't have many good options himself. I heard the Shen family has given up on him too, and is now grooming his sister to take over the business. He started his own company independently, and it's been doing fairly well. I think this might be the source of his confidence. But this has nothing to do with me anymore. I have my own things to do. As the start of school approached, I finished my internship at the factory, returned home, and began preparing my luggage for going to M country. While packing my things, I found an old amulet. After thinking it over, I mailed it to Axelsson. Just return it to whoever gave it to me. I wonder what expression he'll have when he finds out that when he was kidnapped back then, it wasn't Zara Lin who saved him, but me, when I was little. I wasn't with my parents. After my parents divorced, my mother went abroad, so I lived with my grandmother in the countryside. In the countryside, there was an abandoned factory. By chance, I passed by and discovered that there was someone in one of the rooms. I moved closer to look and saw a little boy about my age, along with two adults. The little boy was tied up. I could pretty much tell it was a kidnapping, so I went back to get adults to help. As a result, when we arrived at the factory again, it had caught fire. Smoke was also coming out of the room where the little boy was locked. The adults called the police and were busy putting out the fire, and I went straight to that room. Fortunately, there was no fire in the room, and the two adults were nowhere to be seen. The little boy was tied up and crying loudly in fear. I immediately climbed through the window, untied the ropes binding him, and helped him climb out through the window. He cried and said that the two people were his kidnappers. After they got the money, they set a fire and planned to kill him. He also said his eyes were stinging from the smoke and he couldn't open them. I told him he had been rescued and that he was safe. I handed him over to the adults and then prepared to go home for dinner. He suddenly grabbed me. What's your name? I answered without thinking. Ivy. He nodded, then stuffed something into my hand. I've remembered it. But I don't have anything valuable on me right now. This is my protective charm. When I recover, I'll come back to thank you properly. After that, I went back home, and not long after, my parents picked me up and brought me back to City Air. My parents remarried, and I changed back to my father's surname, Shu. That's right, when I was a child, my surname was Shi, which was my mother's surname. Life in the big city was countless times more enriching than in the countryside. And that incident of saving someone, I had long since put it out of my mind. When I met Axelsson in high school, I didn't connect him with the child I had saved. It wasn't until after we were married in my previous life, when I accidentally saw Axelsson's childhood diary at his parents' house, that I realized the person I had saved back then was Axelsson. I was astonished by such a coincidence. Coincidentally, the next day was our wedding anniversary, and he had made a reservation at a restaurant with a great atmosphere in the mountain resort. I wanted to tell him during our date. Unexpectedly, on the way there, a car accident occurred. Axelsson deliberately caused me to die in the car accident to avenge his assistant, to avenge the person he believed to be his savior. I'm actually quite curious about why he thinks Zara Lynn is his savior, when the protective charm is clearly with me, but I don't want to waste any more time on them. I've already wasted too much in my previous life. In this one, I want to live for myself. School is about to start, and I'm going abroad. Guyan helped me find a place to live. Right next to where he stays, he came to pick me up, helped me settle in, and then treated me to a meal. He's also going to show me around the area. I'm really putting you out, I said politely. It's no trouble at all. It's my honor to be of service to Sister Shushu. Jiyu Yang grinned. School started, and I began my new campus life. On my way home from school that day, my best friend shared a piece of gossip with me. Axelsson ran away from his wedding. My best friend told me that on the wedding day, Axelsson didn't show up at all, only Zara Lynn was crying, and in the end, the wedding was cancelled again. It's as if Axelsson just vanished into thin air. He's not answering his phone, not replying to WeChat messages, and even the Shun family doesn't know where he went. I suddenly had a bad feeling. Sure enough, when I got to the door, I saw a man with a stubbly beard. That is Axelsson. He looks haggard, as if he hasn't slept for days. Axelsson also saw me and came over to grab me. Ivy Shu. How did my amulet end up with you? I remained silent. Was it you who saved me? Axelsson urgently confirmed. I said expressionlessly, yes, I saved you. If it weren't for me, you would have almost been burned to death. But the person who saved me said her name is Zara. Axelsson was still puzzled. Believe it or not, I'm just returning what belongs to its rightful owner. I shook him off and prepared to enter. Who would have thought Axelsson would block my way? You're that Shiyun, aren't you? I tried to go around him, but he completely blocked the path. He continued, I knew it was you. I felt something was off as soon as I received the talisman. Zara Lynn said the scar on her thigh was from a burn she got while saving me, but there was no fire in the room at that time, only smoke. How could she have been burned? I asked her about the talisman before, and she said she lost it by accident. How could I be so foolish to believe her lies? I frowned and said, step aside. What does what you're saying have to do with me? Axelsson said anxiously. How could it not have anything to do with you? If I had known you were the one who saved me, I wouldn't have been with her, and I wouldn't have parted ways with you. I scoffed. It seems you still don't understand what your problem is. Let's put aside whether you recognized the wrong savior or not, but isn't it inappropriate to string me along while being involved with someone else? He even got someone else pregnant while preparing to marry me. What? Did Zara Lynn force you? Axelsson pursed his lips tightly, saying nothing. If he wouldn't allow it, I planned to leave first. Little did I know, he grabbed my hand again and pulled me back into a tight embrace. Ivy Shu, I was wrong. I mistook you for someone else. Can you give me another chance? As he spoke, he leaned in to kiss me. I struggled frantically, but I couldn't break free, just as he was about to kiss me. A wave of intense disgust welled up inside me. At that moment, a fist suddenly came flying over, striking his face and turning it aside. I was also pulled out of Axelsson's embrace. Jiyu Yang pulled me behind him and said angrily, if you harass Shushu again, I won't mind knocking your teeth out. Axelsson covered his face but didn't look at Jiyu Yang. Instead, he looked at me. Ivy Shu, are you already with him? Did you choose him? I didn't choose anyone. But I don't want to have anything to do with Axelsson anymore. So I lied. Yes, I'm with him. We plan to get married after graduation. Axelsson's eyes darkened, and he let out a self-mocking laugh. So I don't have a chance anymore. It's not a question, but a statement. He turned and left dejectedly. Only Jiyu Yang and I remained. Sorry, I used you as an excuse in the heat of the moment. I'm a bit sorry, But Ji Yu Yang said seriously, I wish it were true. I looked at him and found that he was also looking at me with a serious expression. Can I? Ji Yu Yang inquired. I fell silent. Since my rebirth, I haven't focused on matters of the heart, only on developing my studies and career. It's not that I haven't sensed Ji Yu Yang's feelings for me, but I don't have the heart for it now, nor can I deceive myself. I was carefully choosing my words, just about to speak, when Ji Yu Yang stopped me. Don't say it, I know what you mean. He took a deep breath and then smiled again. I'm sorry, I was being too abrupt. After that, I continued my life as an international student. My relationship with Ji Yu Yang didn't seem to change much either. After he understood my stance, our interactions actually became more natural. I heard about Axel Shun again when my best friend told me. Axel Shun and Zara Lin were in a car accident on the mountainside. The vehicle exploded, and Zara Lin died in the burning car. Axel Shun was lucky enough to escape and was taken to the hospital. Last time, Axel Shun disappeared but came back not long after. However, he seemed completely off, constantly muttering about being deceived. I heard that although Axel Shun and Zara Lin never had their wedding, they had already registered their marriage. Axel Shun wanted a divorce, but Zara Lin didn't agree. Now, with things turning out this way, Axel Shun has gotten what he wanted. Hey Ivy Shu, do you think this car accident might have been deliberately caused by Axel Shun? Listening to my best friend's gossip, some past memories flooded into my mind. The location and manner of the car accident were exactly the same. How could it not be intentional? I hired someone to find Zara Lin's family and had them go to the police station to file a report. The police conducted an examination of the car wreckage and indeed found evidence of tampering. In the event of a collision, the passenger seat's safety belt would lock and become impossible to open. Axel Shun was arrested. What awaits him will be the most severe punishment under the law. After finishing my studies abroad, I returned to my home country and joined my father's company. I started from the bottom and gradually worked my way up, becoming my father's right-hand man. A few years later, Ji Yu Yang also returned from studying abroad and entered the Ji Yu family enterprise. We still kept in touch with each other. As in the past, we are friends, but over these years of being together, we seem to have become something more than just friends. Neither of us has pierced through this layer of window paper. On my birthday, he asked me to go to his place for a meal. I've prepared a grand meal for you, guaranteed to suit your taste, and what's more, I've got a big gift ready for you. I joked with him. Don't tell me you're giving yourself to me, he said mysteriously. You'll know when you get here. I went to his house, finished the dinner he had prepared, and then asked, where's your gift? He laughed, so eager. He turned and entered the bedroom, then he placed a document in front of me. Look, this is a gift. This is a contract. The property in the southern district will be given to the Shu family for permanent free use. My eyes widened. Of course, we want this property. But the price the Ji Yu family is asking definitely won't be low, so I didn't even ask. You're giving this to me as a gift, isn't it too valuable? Ji Yu Yang laughed and said, of course, but there are conditions. I couldn't wait and said, what are the conditions? The condition is that the Shu family and the Ji Yu family form a marriage alliance. In other words, you and me. Ji Yu Yang looked at me with sparkling eyes. He continued, they've planned a new residential area in the southern part of the city. Building a shopping mall there is definitely a surefire profit. I don't think you'd refuse this condition. If you want a career, I can help you with that too. Is that okay? I also smiled. Of course, no problem. Then please guide me for the rest of my life.